You spend days and hours locked in your room just to study, but at the end you feel that you did nothing by the end of the day. You feel stuck and very slow. There's nothing wrong with your brain, but there's something wrong with your study technique. I know so much about this topic because during my medical training I suffered from that so much. And after doing so much research about this topic, I could finally get rid of this problem and study so fast with amazing results. And you can start applying these techniques right now after this video. So stay till the end. So this video is divided into 3 parts. The first one is things you should start doing. Number 2, things you should stop doing. And finally, number 3, some general habits. We're gonna start with the first one, things that you should start doing right now. Here there are 3 easy secrets, so easy to do, yet you're not doing them. The first one is to set time limit. So important, I cannot emphasize enough on that point. So if you don't feel pressured or you have a deadline, the work is going to take the time as much as you give it and allow it. If you stayed home to study all day long, then whatever chapter you're trying to study is going to take all this day. And this is going to make you tired. By the end of the day, you're going to find yourself that you did not finish this chapter. You are frustrated, you're very slow, and you're going to tell yourself that, let's call it a day. Maybe tomorrow I will tackle this chapter. Because the quality of your studying during this day is not efficient, not effective, and is not fruitful. So the thing here is you have to put some pressure on yourself. Set a specific time frame for every chapter. Allocate specific task for specific period of time. This is how our brain works. Just use it the way it should be used. Now, point B is focus on the high yield. You can try to study the book cover to cover, but this will surely not guarantee a good grade on the exam, unfortunately. And this is gonna waste your time. You're gonna be spending so much time and energy on things that they don't matter that much on the exam. I can swear by this method, the 80-20 rule. This is a famous one, also called the Pareto principle. It was applicable even in medical school. It states that 20% of your effort or 20% of the material covers 80% of the exam. It's crazy, right? But this is a concept that is applicable not only in medicine or during your studies. So if you can focus on these 20%, master them, this will guarantee that you're gonna score more than 80% on an exam. Of course, this is a general concept, but it is almost every time applicable. So instead of reading 100% of the material and not mastering anything, ditch that and go for the 20%. Master these 20%. Become so knowledgeable about these 20%. And if you can add 10% or 15%, of course you can do it. It's not a big deal. But don't move forward before mastering these 20%. Just covering superficially 100% of the material, you're not going to be able to answer questions, specifically if they are a bit tricky. You got the point. Now we move to point number 3, which is trick your brain and emotions. You probably didn't know how much your thoughts and emotions can affect greatly on your memory and cognitive function. It's something for free, easy to do, and backed by science, and can have a great impact. Thousands of studies have proven that just by thinking that you can do something, you can unlock huge potential in your brain, memory, and attention. Can you imagine that? Just by thinking that you can do it. So your brain can either slow you down or make it very fast. So if you believe it, or even if you can talk to yourself in a positive way, you can shift your brain, you can shift your mindset, and your brain is gonna be absorbing the new data and the new information. You can say affirmations like, I can definitely do it. I am so capable of much more. Or it is my time, or my time to shine. You got the point. Don't start your study session on a low or negative mood. It is what it is. There is something that you have to do it. So motivate yourself, open up your brain just by these positive affirmations. Now let's move on to things that you should stop doing. Okay, the first one. I'm gonna be a bit aggressive here. If you are still doing that, no YouTube video is gonna help you. No guru on the internet. No book can save you. Nothing can make you study fast if you are still doing that bad habit, which is still studying with distraction. So the first thing is stop all the distractions. No, you cannot multitask. Studies have shown that the brain cannot multitask effectively. The brain switches quickly between tasks from one to another but does not multitask. So if every few seconds you are checking your phone, you're getting a notification, imagine what you are doing. You're switching from deep work to something superficial, then go back to deep work, then something superficial. And this is frying your brain and attention, memory, and everything else. And definitely, you're not gonna be able to see fast results. Should I develop this point even more? Point number 2 that you should stop doing: sugar consumption. I used to think that eating sugar before or while studying will give me this energy boost and will make me study faster, but no, I was very wrong. Apparently this sugar rise, then the drop, is gonna make me slow and I'm gonna crash. And I found during my research that sugar in fact can slow your memory and your attention. I was maybe a bit surprised by that. I used to think that, yeah, sugar equals energy, but not always, not all the time. So we can write here that sugar will slow your brain, and you can switch sugar with other snacks like nuts, berries, maybe coffee, green tea, or simply water. Now moving on to point number 3 or point C, don't be stubborn. If you try to tackle the same topic over and over again from the same angle and you're still not seeing good results, don't be stubborn. It's time to change either the angle or the resource. If you've been reading about this chapter from the same book, maybe you can change the book, read from somewhere else, or even more, you can change the resource type. So you can watch a video or listen to a podcast explaining this topic. Or even more, you can ask a friend to summarize it or maybe explain it in his or her own words. So change the resource, angle, or even the strategy. Another thing that you can do is to try to solve questions, because questions are gonna give you insights about what's important in the material or the subject, where your attention should be focused. Just one point about changing the resources, but don't fall into the trap of always constantly changing and trying many resources and then doing nothing. You're supposed to encounter some difficulties. I'm not saying no, but if you've been trying so hard and still not getting the results, now you can change the resource. Now let's move to the final part of this video, which is some general concepts and habits that you should acquire. The first one is to tackle your weaknesses first. If your aim is to see fast results, repeating or studying again the things that you're good at is not going to give you a lot of improvement. You might improve like 10 to 15% probably, but if you focus on your weaknesses, this is going to give you a huge jump, a huge leap. Let alone if you can master your weaknesses, this is going to make you devour the exam, because you're going to be able to answer any questions on the exam confidently. And definitely this is a way to study much faster. Now point number 2 or B is to see the big or bigger picture. When you study, don't do it with a narrow mind. Don't focus only on the point that you're studying and forget the whole picture, the whole concept here. When you have an idea about the whole subject, so you can study by filling these missing puzzle pieces. You know what I mean? So the specific chapter that you're now gonna be studying, you know where it is located into this big picture. So you go deeper to just fill this small gap. And linking these gaps together and also with the whole concept is going to make you study much faster, because you know what you're supposed to be doing right now. You know what you're supposed to be studying and what's the benefit of studying this small subject. And this will make much more sense to you and to your brain and will help you study much faster. And finally, point number C, which is enjoy. Yeah, as simple as that. Yeah, this is a happy smiley face. Finally, don't forget your why. Why are you studying that? Why are you doing this? Why did you take this class? Sometimes you are obliged to do it, you're not that happy about it, but you did it most probably for a bigger goal, for something that you want to achieve at the end. So try to enjoy it. This is not a lesser point, trust me. If you know how to enjoy the things, even if they are mundane, this is gonna make you excel at almost anything. You can be studying something not that fun, but if you find some joy in it or you can gamify it, trust me, this is gonna help you so much because you're not gonna feel that you're doing a hard chore. And this will open up your brain to study much more effectively and faster for sure. I hope you get something out of this video. If you want to learn how to memorize faster and retain for long term, check out this video where I talk about the only 2 books you need.